You do it all without breaking a sweat. Like being a boss exec to Tuesday tennis to homework. Why do the kids have so much homework? Family dinners, lunches, brunches, trips to the vet, and a weekend getaway that's anything but a getaway. And you do it all in style. Even when you have back-to-back conference calls on top of the kids' orchestra recitals, not to mention your side hustle. That's why we created the fully reimagined Infiniti QX60. A luxury SUV as functional as it is stylish, and as versatile as it is serene. With premium features like a panoramic moonroof, ample cargo space, and available massaging front seats to bring the ease of luxury to your everyday. Introducing the all-new Infiniti QX60, designed to help you take on life and all the chaos it may come with, in style. Learn more at InfinityUSA.com. Now with extremely limited availability, contact your local retailer for inventory information.
Hola. Welcome to episode 77 of Word to Your Mama. Word to Your Mama is a podcast about the life of a Latinx mama, and that's me, and the lives of my amazing multicultural tribe. It's a celebration of shared experiences navigating this dynamic world. There will be special guests, mad laughs, and absolutely no BS. Nabi is our motto. Segments by the Supernatural Bear, that's my little man. He's 9 going on 49, but other than that, this podcast will be explicit. Please believe it. Welcome to May 2nd. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. And because of two factors, because it is Mental Health Awareness Month and because just recuperating, I'm still reeling from this weekend that was Hola Metaverso. Please go listen to that amazing episode of why I, joined the team to bring this event. I mean, I'm exhausted, but there were tears. There were tears, post-tears of because of the beautifulness, the amazingness. And I'll get into that on another episode. And then because it's, Mental Health Awareness Month, I thought it would be appropriate to repost, do a replay, if you will, of episode 20, The Past and Mental Health. That aired on February 18th last year, 2021. And I did it immediately, like literally immediately after a therapy session. And part of my goal with this podcast and people telling their stories, it always seems to organically come up, mental health. And I think that's very important because I try to really focus mostly on people of color, BIPOC people, Black, Indigenous people of color. And I want to normalize and de-stigmatize mental health. So it's really important for me. It's really important for my guests that are on here to tell their stories and share their stories so that hopefully you're listening, you can be like, oh, I look like them, I sound like them, I can relate to them. And yeah, we come from communities that historically don't look down on it, maybe because they don't understand it, they fear it. Also, there's little to no access because of the financial barrier. So I wanted to continue to share my story, and I hope that this helps. The stuff that I was dealing with last year, major, and it as I was dealing with it, it kind of changed and evolved into other types of things. So I'm still not ready to to speak about it at length, but mental health is part of overall health. And I continue to do the work. And I hope that if you haven't, you will start. If you were on the path and you stopped, to get back on it. I give a lot of resources. There's a page dedicated to mental health resources on Word to Your Mama. I'll have a link to all of that. I actually have a therapy appointment tomorrow. We've gone back to once a month, but she had to take a break because she was moving out of state. So so I'm excited to give her a recap of everything that's been happening, and I'm hoping that there's a significant event that we are prepping for that may or may not happen that has to do with what I discuss or don't discuss or allude to in this episode. And so, I'm excited to prep for that. And and also there's not going to be a new outro for this episode. It'll just be what was for February. So I'll say this information here. I'll have the links, of course. Spotify now, they have clickable links. So I talk about that, what a difference a year makes. And I'm still with the same therapist. I said I was going to look for a Latinx therapist, Latinx therapist, but we have some unresolved stuff. I have some unresolved stuff that I might be dealing with in the near future, and I just want to continue with her until we wrap this up. So, and also listening to the Supernatural Bear Corner, what a difference a year makes. At the time of the recording, he was 8. Now he's about to be 10, and it's a significant difference. So yes, May Mental Health Awareness Month. This episode is called The Past in Mental Health. I keep it rough, rugged, and raw, so of course it's going to be explicit, and I hope this helps. I heard this episode helped people last year. I hope it continues to help. Reach out to me if you have any questions, any comments, and I appreciate it. Yeah, so let's get into this. Welcome to episode 20 of Word to Your Mama. I'm Ritzy P. I'm your host, right? I'm always the host, and I just want to let you know that today is going to be a different type of episode. So if you're new here, welcome. Word to Your Mama, a podcast about Latina mama navigating business and life while building her tribe. We have the segments by the Supernatural Bear, who's my son. He's 8 going on, 48. But this is not safe for work, as you would call it, because I cuss a lot. That's just the way I am. This is raw. This is just super real as much as it can be when it happens, right? But how it works is I have special guests and I know them. They're part of my tribe, or I don't really know them, but they're still part of my tribe because they contributed to my well-being, or I've been inspired or something like that, right? So what happens is I book a bunch of interviews with the different people, and I do them ahead of time. And then I have a set idea of what kind of people I want to have on, what part of the month I want to release them. And then I don't record the intro or the outros until right before I'm about to release it. But I might have interviewed them a month ahead of time. So this is a different type of episode because I'm not going to have a guest, but it's not a bonus episode where we're just going to, I'm just going to talk about nice things. I just wanted to be real that I haven't interviewed anybody. I haven't reached out to interview that many people. I haven't been serious about it. I haven't been, I just didn't have the energy. I didn't have the energy because some shit's happened on a personal level that has taken me out. And I was like, well, I got to be consistent, right? It was every Tuesday, I think I was releasing stuff. I just started in September. And so I'm finding my way, finding my rhythm, finding out what works, finding out, what time-wise I can get done, because this isn't like my other podcast, The Nerd Out, where it's just boom, 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 easy breezy, put the intro, outro, bow. It's we got the sponsors, we got the, the intros, the outros, the different sections, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of work. But I just was just not in the mindset. it was like we're coming up on a year of the fucking pandemic, of being in the house. And then, the shit that went down in the longest month ever, January, and just some past shit that just has come up in my life that I'm sure I'll talk about at length in the future. But I was like, I got to be consistent. I got to figure out, like I was going on to Wednesdays, releasing every Wednesday now, every Friday. And it's just like, I was just like, all of a sudden, time is crazy. It's like time's going slow, time's going hella quick. And then here I am. And I was like, shit, I haven't recorded. I don't have my, 1, 2, 3 interviews locked and loaded, ready to edit and assemble to release. And I was like, what happened? And it's just some past shit that has come up, especially in the last week, that has literally taken me out. But because, let's backtrack. Okay, let's backtrack. I think my first full-blown episode, without guests, was when Chadwick Boseman passed away. So it was kind of just really rough and rugged and raw, and I didn't really get into like my background, right? But my background is, born and raised in San Diego, 2 eggs away from the border, to a single mom. My bio dad left when I was 2, so I don't know him at all. And, we're on welfare, and, my mom gets with this man who's abused. I mean, it's just like generational trauma back into generational trauma. I mean, there's a bunch of shit, as you heard in like a past episode of relatives. Shit was so bad, and I hated being home, that I'd rather be possessed by spirits like that, and I was able to psychoanalyze at that moment while I was doing the relative episode. And I was just like, fuck, that's real. That's fucking real. Like, you look back and I was like, let me try real hard to get possessed by playing this Ouija board and doing this other shit, because that seems better than the life that I'm living, right? I mean, it's levels of the trauma and stuff like that. But I made it out. I'm good. Like, with the first one out of my big ass Mexican family to go to college. My mom, she got cancer when she was diagnosed with cancer. I think it was my junior or senior year of high school. I mean, that was devastating. And then I went to college. She passed away while I was there, and it was hard just to even graduate. So just a lot of shit has happened. But, and I've mentioned it before on this podcast, because that shit happened to me at such a young age. I was 20, right before I was about to turn 21. But she got sick when I was in high school, so I was dealing with all kinds of shit. Losing her at such a young age and being left to my own devices at such a young age made me realize that I don't got time for the bullshit. I don't have time to expend energy to people that I don't care about. I don't have time to fake the funk and pretend that I like you. I could be cordial in a professional setting, in a family setting, but like I can't. So all that stems from the shit that happened to me in the past, the shit that I realized early on in life, and then the passing of my mom and losing her, because she's all I had. I come from a big ass Mexican family, but I was a black sheep of the family. So I didn't get along with them. I didn't like hardly any of them. I liked one, and then we fell out of sorts, and I really don't know why, but we just reconnected. So shout out to my cousin. She knows who I'm talking about. And so that kind of shit. So lately, a lot of people from the past have been showing up. And just the past week, some shit went down that threw me for a loop. And so what's really on my brain is the past. One thing I can share is that, since my mom passed away over, I think it's going to be in April, I think 26 years now. more than half my life is I was trying to find her best friend that I remember when I was little. And the last time I saw her was in 1991. And she's the reason why I love salsa. Like the reason why when we're in college, shout out to Aaron and to PR Marco and stuff, we'd go to the salsa parades, parades and stuff in Seal Beach and stuff like that, and go to like the Mayan to go salsa dance and stuff. Because when I first heard salsa music, I was like, well, I love this shit. Like I love it so much, like I know it. And then I come to find out that, my mom's best friend, she's Puerto Rican, of course. She's from the Bronx, of course. And they listened to salsa music when I was in utero, right? It makes all the fucking sense. So anyways, I was trying to find her. If you listen to the episode, the last Relatives episode, I think it's right before this one, Relatives 04, and then Word to Your Mama, episode 19, I talk about, dancing in junior high to Naughty Girls Need Love Too, right? So I was like, let me look at these boxes and find this program. So I go in and I was looking at this, and then I found a picture of my tia Lola and her husband. They were in the military at the time. She gave it to us the last time I saw her in 91. My mom passed away like 94, 95. So, and then she also gave us pictures of her two daughters, and then she wrote the names on the back of it, but we couldn't understand the writing. So anyways, I bring it out, show, Miocito, and I was like, yo, can you understand this writing? And he's like, I don't know if that's like a L or a T, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, the next morning, I go on Facebook, of course, as one does, and I try to look them up. I try to figure out the last name, blah, blah, blah. So I finally get one, and it kind of looks like the oldest one, but, so much time have passed. She's a grown woman. And then I see she has a sister, and the sister has the same first name, right? Because they've been married and stuff. And I was like, oh, shit, that looks like her. So I reached out to him during Messenger. I don't really do that. And I said something like, hey, this is such and such daughter. My name's, Marisa, da-da-da. And is your mom? La, 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 la. And she left me a message. She called me right away. I called her right away. And I was like super hyped. She was like super, super nice. Just the fact that she, I just some random chick. I was like thinking like, let me send a picture, the pictures I saw, and tell her that they came when I met them in 91. So she doesn't think I'm like trying to serve her papers or something. Right. So we end up talking. She's just a awesome energy. And we start talking. And then I find out, unfortunately, that my tia Lola had passed away 4 years ago. So that was devastating. But then later on in that day, some other shit went down that triggered all this shit. Basically all this shit to say, I've been taken out by the past, rearing its head. And that's why everything's been a blur. I've been sleeping a lot of naps, a lot of like, just doing what I need to do for my little mans and for the household, and, feeding people, the dinners, the endless, the lunches, the, planning, all that stuff, and his schoolwork and stuff like that, and cleaning the house, shit like that. But like anything else has been like a little bit harder. Like it's kind of a blur, basically. I don't know what's been going on the past 2 weeks, but here I am. And I was like, let me get something up. And I was like, or maybe I just leave it blank. I was like, no, consistency is key. And, I'm trying to build this up. And so I was like, let me just be fucking real. Let me just tell them why I don't have a new episode up. So here I am. But what I will say is that, I know, and I'm proud of myself because I made a lot of strides. The shit that I've accomplished, being first generation, Mexican American, Latina, Latinx, whatever. And accomplishing what I've accomplished and seeing the things that I've seen and been in the industries that I've been in and all that stuff like that. Kudos to me. I see that shit, right? The shit that I realized at such a young age, like, I talk about the supernatural bear all the time. Like, I feel like he's been here before. Well, I feel like I've been here before because I'm seeing shit that I'm like, you guys don't see this shit? At a young ass age, where I was like going to different churches I was like elementary school age. And I was like going to other people's churches because I was like, what's this all about? What's this religion? I went to a Baptist church. I went to CCD because I was the only fucking Mexican in 2 exits away from the border in San Diego that wasn't going to CCD, that Catholic school. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's like, so it was all the Filipinos and Mexicans all up in the CCD classes, like, see you later, see you at CCD, catechism. And I was like, they're like, see you later. I was like, no, I don't go there. But I went to one of the classes and I went to like Baptist and I ended up going into NSA, Nichiren Shoshin Association, the same shit Tina Turner was in. Because I was young and I saw the bullshit. I was like, I went to all these places and everyone was talking shit about everyone else. And I was like, I'm not down with that. So let me go to the Japanese thing, the Buddhist thing, because I want to be in the band, Kotekitai, with my best friend at the time, who's half black, half Japanese. And I was like, this is fun. This feels inclusive. They were like, you know what? You want shit? Then fucking chant for shit. You want that nice house? You want that money? Blah, blah, blah. You know what? Get your beads. And now I'm your hood and get killed that shit out. And I was like, that I understand. They didn't talk shit about anybody else. It was a community, right? So I've already made a bunch of strides, but pain is pain and trauma is trauma. And if you don't fucking deal with it, it will deal with you. And manifest in ways that you might not even fucking know, right? But really of health. Like the book. I'll have a link to the book. I forget his name, but I just listened to it. Body keeps a score. How trauma affects the body and how you go through life. How it physically affects you. How your autoimmune shit, how it affects your autoimmune shit. That's why, coming up in a couple of weeks will be the 5-year anniversary of me getting the tumor out because I had hyperparathyroidism. That's an autoimmune disease that ages you beyond your years. My body, I was feeling like a 60-year-old woman when I was only at the time 30-something, right? So it's an autoimmune disease. So I was like, yo, I bet you when I listened to this book and all the people I've been listening to and books I've been reading, I was like, I bet you I got this fucking shit and I've had this shit because I've had trauma since birth, right? So I'm part of this group of people that had the disease longer than 5-10 years, because I've had probably like more than 15 years. And it's like caused crazy damage that I'm still dealing with now. But that we had surgery, but that we're still fucked up, like still dealing with the repercussions of everything that it's done, like to our bones and da-da-da. Hopefully, if all works out, I'll have my amazing surgeon that was the only one that believed in me and found the tumor and got it out with a itty-bitty scar, by the way. Itty-bitty scar. Like you can't even tell. It's in the fold. You would never know. Anyways, all that to say, I went onto this group that I'm part of, and I was like, yo, how many of you, I didn't say yo, but I was like, how many, I just told them about this book, and I was like, how many of us on this group have had like generational trauma, growing up, da-da-da. I think pretty much every motherfucker in that group, which is mostly women, all said yes. And of course, it affects your autoimmune system. Right? It makes all the sense in the world. So when my mom passed away, I was devastated, right? They told us she had 6 months to live. I wasn't even supposed to know she had 6 months to live. And my tia, one thing I will thank her for, and I've thanked her for before, she's like, she doesn't want you to know, but she only has 6 months to live. She only made it like maybe 3 months or whatever. So I had that time. When she passed away, I lost it, but I was still in college. And one of the last things she told me was, no matter what, graduate from college. Man, let me tell you, I was having a motherfucking time. And I don't even know if my good friends that are my family now, that were my roommates, I don't even know if they understood like the hard time that I was having, right? So anyways, that's the first time I go to therapy. Because through school, you get it for free. And since then I was like, okay, knew that therapy helped me. I ended up going to one-on-one therapy, and then ended up this was before my mom died, actually, if I think about it correctly, time-wise. I had just found out she had 6 months to live. So I went in then because I was like, what the fuck? And I'm in Long Beach, Cal State Long Beach, and she's in San Diego from where we're from. So it was like, do I leave? Da, 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 da. And also like having a white male therapist, he doesn't know the dynamics of being Latinx, Latina in a Mexican household. Like, that's frowned upon. Like, you're supposed to drop everything and go over there, right? So anyways, I go from that to group therapy, and then I'm out. So since then, I was like, I'm a huge advocate for therapy because it's looked down upon in our communities. All this to say is that going to something else happened later along in life, and I was like, I need to go back into therapy. And then something happened 3 years ago, and I was like, I need to go back into the therapy. I'm bringing this up because this is where I'm at. This is literally right after I had an emergency therapy session, like an emergency, quote unquote. Like, I'm not suicidal, but emergency as I've graduated to seeing her once a month. And so this was like, some shit went down, and I was like trying to get an appointment. I couldn't. So this is the earliest available appointment, right? So I'm doing this now just because I'm thinking like, okay, do I just do like what? No. Let me just be real and tell you what's up.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
¿Alguna vez has estado listo para sentarte y disfrutar de la televisión y luego te das cuenta que no sabes lo que quieres ver o incluso dónde empezar a buscar opciones? Cox Contour TV te facilita esa decisión con el entretenimiento que amas, todo en el mismo lugar. Mira televisión en vivo, programas en demanda, grabaciones de DVR y música. Todo con el sonido de tu voz, con el control remoto de Voz Contour. No solo encuentra los programas que estás buscando, sino que también brinda recomendaciones de romance, aventura o simplemente películas, y disfruta. Si eres fanático de los deportes, captura la acción de golf y baloncesto que has estado esperando y obtendrás los puntajes, estadísticas y resúmenes en tiempo real en la aplicación Contour Sports. Y si te gusta la transmisión, solo dilo para que lo veas en tus aplicaciones de suscripción favoritas como Hulu, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus y más con Contour Stream Player. Obtén más información en cox.com/contour. And let you know that I'm good, but only because I've been going to therapy, right? The shit that just went down, I would be a mess. And to the like my rib told me, like she said the same thing, like imagine if I hadn't done the work to lead up to here. Like I have the tools and I'm in the right mindset where it's still going to fuck me up, right? But it's not going to take me out where I'm hysterical and I don't know what to do with myself. Like I'm in a practical place right now, you know? And the therapy session I just had was just, okay, time has passed since the incident happened. It might, you know, I've had conversations with people that I trust and that, you know, it's a lot to get into. You know what I'm saying? Especially the fucking shit I went through last Friday. Like, it took so much out of me that I was just like, you know, to talk to people about it, sure. But to get into these really deep discussions of the nitty gritty of how to proceed, you know, it's only two people right now. Cause that's the bandwidth I got for that type of shit. So it was just about talking to my therapist and being like, this is what happened. This is what went down. This is what I've been thinking about. This is where I'm at. I just wanted to check in with you, make sure I'm not thinking I'm in a good place when I'm not, and I talked to her, broke it down. She was shocked. It was like a telenovela, telling her because she knows what's been going on. And she was like, no, I think you're good. I think, just move ahead accordingly, cautiously, da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, I feel good. So let's just fucking record this shit right now. If I want to get something up the next day, let me do that. I already talked to Supernatural Bear later on in the Supernatural Bear Corner. You're going to have some good shit, some uplifting shit, some exciting news and some reviews of my little man. So, but what I wanted to say was I'm still hit, but I've gotten up already because I've gone to therapy. And what I always talk about and try to mention or have the artists, navigate so that they mention on their own, especially because I'm focusing on mostly, BIPOC guests, is I want us to normalize and destigmatize mental health within our communities because it's so fucking important, right? And I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for those times that it was not in mode, if you will, but I just knew what I fucking needed. I was like, let me get professional help to help me navigate these feelings. Like I'm going to do the motherfucker work, but let me get a professional to make sure that I'm on the right path to make it through to the other side. Because I've done the work. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you understand that, but those who have been in therapy understand what I'm saying when I said I've done the motherfucking work. So when shit hits me, it's like I'm wearing a bulletproof vest, kind of like, that might bruise, but I'm alive and I can still get up or take me shorter, okay, get up quicker, whatever. But I just wanted to really bring this up because I don't want to be 50 years old and be triggered for some minute little thing and have it ruin my day, have it ruin my week, have it ruin my month, or have it ruin my year, have it ruin my life. I don't want that to happen. So I want to just be on here and say, I'm going through some shit, but I'm going to get back on the stuff. I'm going to have some guests on again and do this because I love doing this. I love learning from other people. It's helping me. Do you know what I'm saying? See things the way I approach shit differently. See the growth, have that Natasha gif, the one from Insecure. I do that all the time. Her little hand go, growth. That's growth. So I'm here to just say this part and say thank you for supporting this endeavor that I started in the fucking it's a fucking pandemic, guys. Like, even if you're not going through whatever bullshit, the past that reared its ugly head and, you have or haven't been in therapy, so you do or don't have the tools on how to proceed. It's been exhausting. We're exhausted. And it's okay to be exhausted. It's okay to be like, what? I can't fucking do that shit. That's fine. Sometimes I'm like, I make a list, have a things to do list that says things to do, or before I used to say shit to do or something like that, but it says things to do. And I write shit down. I'm just like, before I'd be like, I gotta scratch off every fucking thing on this list. Now it's just like, can I just scratch off one fucking thing and be like, I did something. And that doesn't include the shit that I just normally do on a regular basis, get up, make the breakfast, put the dishes away, do like that shit on itself, like winning, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still getting out of bed, but so yeah, so I'm going to have some links to some resources, but my therapist is fantastic. And I've graduated, like I said, to once a month. It's slim pickings out here in the desert, kids, because it's also like who can afford, who accepts my insurance. But one hot tip I'm going to tell you, my first therapist was free through the school. My second therapist was someone at a clinic that was on a sliding scale because they're therapists who haven't gotten all their hours yet. So they're not official, but they're getting their hours and they're like on the cusp of being official. So they'll have a sliding scale where they'll see you for what can you afford? $10, $15, or you can't do that, maybe some scholarships. There's a lot of that resources around you, okay? So when you're in a desperate situation and you're what they call in crisis, then look to that. There's a bunch of those around. And then when you still need some help after that, then there's insurance can cover some shit and you only pay a co-payment depending on your insurance. And then there's places where, you want to find, I'm at a place right now where my therapist is great, but since it's slim pickings, it was, old white ladies. No, that's a no, right? No. So I was like, well, can I find anyone of color? No one of color that took my insurance. But it was really just no one of color. So I was like, what's the next best thing? I was like, hey, let me get with someone that understands being an outsider, feeling less than, So I was like, okay, let me find someone that is and also has clients and understands the LGBTQIA+ realm and those issues and can relate to that and does therapy for that because they understand that other mentality, the trauma, the generational trauma, the family dynamic and how that, So I was okay. So that's who I've had now. Right. But since I graduated to once a month and it's a pandemic and everyone's starting to see, we could totally do virtual shit. I was like, I think it's time for me to, look for, since I'm once a month, let me maybe see if I could find someone that takes my insurance that's Latina. For me, it was like, it can't just be a dude, it has to be a woman. I'm trying to look for a woman of a certain age because I'm looking at this thing and just to be fucking real, I'm like looking at these directories. I'm like, I could be her mama. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she could provide some insight, but I'm looking for someone that's at least a little bit closer to my age or older than me with that experience. But that also just can't be Latina. They also, I don't want it to be all Christian. I don't want, none of that fucking bullshit for me. If you want that, you can find that. But there's I've been looking for, and this is not a commercial or promo because I don't know them, but I've been trying to find people on latinxtherapy.com and therapyforlatinx.com. And you can look a little bit about them and their approach and all this stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking for right now. But in the meantime, between times, if shit went down, I got my therapist. She knows my story. Boom. She's helped tremendously. And I also want to put, you want people, there's certain things that, on the overall scheme of things, they can help you, but there's certain things that you want someone that really understands the intricacies of the community that you come from, right? So you're indigenous, you're Asian, you're Black, or you're mixed. All these things are important because how can they help you if they don't understand you or understand those stories and those dynamics, right? So I'm going to have links. I'll have links to the Latinx therapy for Latinx. There's a therapy for Black girls that's Black woman owned, and it's therapy for Black girls. So that's specific. And then there's one foundation that Shane Jessup told me about because he was raising money from sales from his shirt. And it's the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation. And it's a nonprofit that was started by Taraji B. Henson. And it's about doing the same thing, normalizing and de-stigmatizing mental health within the African American community. So that's a great resource. I'm also going to have a link to the Asian Mental Health Collective. Because that's also complex, just like when you think of, the Latino community, the Latinx community, where it's not a monolith. There's so many different types and different issues and different things. So for me, when I'm looking for a therapist, I'm looking for a Mexican. I'm looking for either she calls herself Chicana, she's Mexican, blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm looking for, right? And then I'm also going to have a link to therapy in color. So it helps you could find a therapist that is of color, and also you can get specific, like Spanish speaking, LGBTQIA+, weekends, evenings, all that shit like that. I don't know these other foundations, but this is the initial research that I did right before I got on here. But if I do some more, I'll provide those links on there too. When I say I'm going to provide links, they're going to be on the show notes on Word to Your Mama site for the episode page. And also, if you listen to this podcast on the Apple Podcast app, then the actual links come up, which is great. But it doesn't happen on Spotify for some reason. So it looks like, what the hell is she writing? What kind of shit is this? I'm sorry, but just put it once and it gets populated to the other places. But if you go on the Apple Podcast, boom. If I have like handles for people, usually I try to do that, have the handles for people, links for people. And then when I do the show notes, you can click them directly off of your phone and stuff like that. So that's what I'll have. And that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for just riding with this and being patient. I'm just trying to figure this shit out. Like I said, this is the third podcast that I've had, but this is like the most involved because it's me and mad editing and, Supernatural Bear and stuff like that. So the Supernatural Bear corner is kind of like, okay, just a little... Sometimes it's homage to whoever's a guest and if he knows them, or it's just like a little respite of some goodness. Cause I think that's what we need, right? Cause we have trash timelines. Motherfucking, we send money to Texas. They need our help. And then their trash representatives are, not helping them or going to fucking Cancun and pretending like they were just going for a day. When the receipts are there, dude, like whatever. So anyways, we need some good shit. And I feel like the Supernatural Bear, he provides that for me. He keeps me sane. And I feel like I just want to share, even though this is an adult podcast dealing with adult issues and adult language, I want to have the Supernatural Bear on there for you. So that he gives you a little, amazing, cute, a song. He'll give you a little ditty or he'll give you some insight. I don't know. The little man is wise, wise beyond his years. So that's it for this section of Word to Your Mama, episode 20. I think I might call it the pass. Who's to say? See how it goes when I'm editing this. But I got to do it soon because I got to post it tomorrow for you folks. So thanks for riding. Let's get into the Supernatural Bear Corner. And now, introducing
the Supernatural Bear Corner. Supernatural Bear. Yo, what am I all about, Decepticons? It is me, SMB16, and today we're going to read some more reviews. Unfortunately, Ritzy P is not here with us today. Well, she is. She's here. But anyway, let's get reading. All right, so the first one is from Big Head Dan. I don't know who you are or what you are, Big Head Dan, but it says love. This is a great podcast to listen to during these crazy times. Ritzy and her guests provide a refreshing look on life. I love the episodes with her relative, aka my tia Naisha. She allows her listeners to really get to know her personality. Personally, sorry. Something that many are afraid to share.
Yay! 5 stars.
5 stars. And this is from Marty 520.
Mm-hmm.
You know Marty 520?
I think so, but I'm not sure. And then read the subject.
Nothing but love. Nothing but hearts. I have my hands in hearts. Okay. Review. Can't help but smile every time I hear Ritzy's voice. Her voice, personality, and storytelling is out of this world. I just want to hang out with her and laugh. Love hearing the different perspectives from her family, friends, and especially the Supernatural Bear Corner with the little jingle intro song. Super fun. Now I don't I don't know who you are, Marty 520. But I think you might be one of my uncles. Am I right? One of my uncles or one of my cousins. Because usually only they pull up SMB Corner. So thank you. Thank you. One of my uncles or cousins. All right, so those are all the new reviews. Thank you for everyone for giving us a 5.0 out of 5. And this has been the SMB. Oh, and we also have some news. A new Mars rover called what? Perseverance just landed on Mars today at the time of this recording, February 18th, 2021. It's a big deal. And also, my name, the Supernatural Bear, of course, is on it. It is on it. So I love that.
Out of how many names? How many other names are up there?
Out of 11 million names.
Yeah.
11 million dang names. And we actually got it in May of the year before last year. 2019. So that was a long time ago. They've been working on that for a long time.
And let them know when the rover launched. How long did it take it to get there?
It took around 7 months. 7 months. Okay, I just want to tell you about that before we went. Goodbye. And this has been the SMB. Yo!
Shooby-doo.
Yeah.
There it is, folks. Episode 20, Word to Your Mama. Little man always delivers in some way. I have no idea what he's going to do. We have maybe sometime outline, but usually not. So whatever happens, happens. And there it is. So like I said, this is not a usual episode. Thank you for listening. The usual episode will have a guest. We'll still have the S&B corner. And at the end right here, I wrap it up. And I always end it with We Reap. Word to Your Mama is owned and produced by Ritzy P. Intro beat produced by Nico Beats. If you want to learn more about Word to Your Mama, including getting the media kit, go to wordtoyourmama.com. Word to Your Mama is proud to be part of the Latina Podcasters Network. And as always, Word to Your Mama is brought to you by ritzyperiwinkle.com.